All right, so let's now get into some of the issues that, well, we're dealing with now in the country. One of them is the exchange rate. And we see how in the past few days, people have, especially those who run businesses, small businesses, have talked about the impact of that on their business. How do you suggest that this administration begin to deal with that very big elephant in the room?
Well, here's the thing. Only people who are economically illiterate will begin to say that the Naira has dropped. The Naira has not dropped. What has happened is that the Naira has found its natural level because the Central Bank of Nigeria has stopped subsidizing the Naira. A lot of people are unaware that for the past 40 years, now listen to what I'm saying, 40 years, it became intense under General Buhari's government, but we've been doing this for 40 years. The Central Bank of Nigeria has been subsidizing the Naira. By the time it got to General Muhammadu Buhari's administration, the CBN was spending $1.5 billion every month subsidizing the Naira. So what you were seeing was not the real rate of the Naira. It was a subsidized rate of the Naira. Under Abacha pegs the Naira. So when you peg the Naira, what it is that you set an artificial value for the Naira and you begin to defend it. So if you go on social media, you Google me, you'll see a photo of me with Alan Greenspan, one of the best central bank governors ever in the world. He was the governor of the Central Bank of America, called the Federal Reserve Bank. And this is a man who, taught me one or two things about monetary policy. You got to understand, for monetary policy, for a country like Nigeria, having an exchange rate that is a bit high, or that is, will I say, close to the dollar, is not very wise, because it's going to allow your citizens not patronize locally manufactured goods, but they're going to be patronizing foreign goods, which is going to be destroying your economy the more. If you look at Nigeria, for instance, now, we have a population of about 220 million. Of that population, about 160 million are adults. Now, 76 million Nigerians use MTN lines. 60 million Nigerians use Airtel. Altogether, that's 133 million Nigerians. Now, every day they spend $20 million on their data every single day. That money is going to foreign companies, MTN and Airtel. Is going to South Africa to service their economy. So just imagine every day $20 million flying out of Nigeria going to South Africa. $20 million flying out of Nigeria going to South Africa. No country on earth can have a good currency when that is happening. If that money, if all Nigerians, if all those people, 133 million people, were using Glo, I'm telling you, the Naira immediately will just improve by 50%. Now, what were we using this subsidized Naira to do? 25 million pounds Nigeria was spending annually importing Scotch whiskey. $75 million annually importing champagne. Now, Nigeria was spending $185 billion importing human hair, fake lashes, and then other cosmetics from India, Bangladesh, and several Asian countries. That's what we were doing with this subsidized Naira. It is good for the Naira to have this value that it has, because it's going to force Nigerians to begin to patronize locally manufactured goods. So we don't have to now start getting Derica tomato paste from Italy. We'll get our tomato paste from Kano. If you want to drink maybe custard, then go and drink Ogi or Akamu. Stop looking for Quaker oats. Go and eat Akara. If you want shoes, go and buy a bar-made shoe or Kano-made shoe. If you want to drive a car, go and drive Innocent. If you want to go to London, fly Air Peace. That is how other countries are building their currencies. It is not by pumping $1.5 billion that we don't have. How much are we spending in a year for education? Not up to $1.5 billion. And that is what we're spending each and every month before this administration came and floated the Naira. That's what we are spending to defend the Naira. It is wrong. I am not a member of the All Progressive Congress. I will not join the All Progressive Congress. I'm not about to join the All Progressive Congress. But what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done for the Naira is the right thing to do. It is stealing. How can we as a country be spending all our wealth on imported things, and then we are saying that, oh, government should come and fix Naira? Who is going to fix Naira for us?
We're at a place where some of these manufacturing companies have had to close because of the challenges they're also facing in the country. No, the enabling environment isn't there. Before we get to the place where we start to patronize our own products here in the country, it looks like we'll have to depend on importation. But what can the government do to create that enabling environment for businesses to thrive?
Precious, that is not factual. What is happening right now? I don't know if you are a mother. I've got children. What is happening right now is this: when you wean your child of breast milk, for the first 3 months, your child will cry and cry and cry and do as if it's going to die and that it cannot survive and disturb you. If you give that child breast milk, the child will never get used to solid food. What Nigeria is going through right now, we are being weaned of our dependence on foreign goods and services. So it's going to affect us. What you're talking about, the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, the manufacturing sector, I read their statement. They are not talking about an enabling environment. What they said is that inventory is piling up because Nigerians are not buying. And it is expected. It happened in Vietnam. Go and read what happened in Vietnam when they devalued their currency. Vietnam, in our own case, we are floating our currency. In Vietnam, they did not float their currency. They artificially devalued their currency. They had the same problem. By the time because what people are expecting is that, okay, if you begin to put pressure, if you begin to have little protests, bakers will have protests, fishermen will have protests, drivers will have protests, maybe the government is going to change their mind. By the time the people see that the government is not going to change their mind and that, look, if you want to make the Naira go up, then you got to patronize local goods, then they are going to change and adjust to the situation on the ground. But until then, the government has to hold firm. And then if they hold firm, then Nigerians will adjust to the new reality.
So you're basically saying that, look, it is not a problem of not having those products here. It's a problem of Nigerians not wanting to patronize the products they have here.
Look, I was on Arise TV and I was watching one of their presenters have this argument with me. Look at what I'm wearing. I live in the United States. I live in America. I'm a #1 best-selling author. I've got businesses. I can afford to be wearing Gucci, Boss, Balenciaga. This was bought from Borno. This was made in Nigeria. My walking stick is from Sapele. My shoe, I finally got a boy from Aba to make my shoe. The presenter that was talking to me, he was wearing a made in Italy suit. He was wearing a made in Spain shoe. He was wearing, I think, the belt. I forgot what country it came from. Everything he was wearing, not one item was made in Nigeria. And then these are the people that are there criticizing, sermonizing, pontifying on television and deceiving Nigerians. If you do not invest in made in Nigeria, then the currency is not going to grow, except the Central Bank of Nigeria starts to waste 1.5 billion defending the currency. I built student hostels in Nigeria. I didn't have to, but I wanted to do that because I am a patriot. I want the currency to grow. I've got staff in Nigeria. I'm sending money to Nigeria. If we do not buy made in Nigeria goods and services, the Naira will not grow. The same thing, if in England, they start to spend more of their money buying foreign goods and services, then the British pound will just collapse. It is just elementary monetary policy, the law of demand and supply. That's what affects a country's currency. So we should stop looking for somebody from abroad or somebody in Africa to come and fix the currency. We need to change our consumption habits, and that our consumption habits is what is going to bring the Naira to a very good level. $20 million every day we are spending on MTN and Airtel. If that money starts to grow, it will have a positive impact on the Naira. If we stop eating spaghetti from Italy and start to eat Dangote spaghetti, it will have an impact on the Naira.
So let's talk about the fuel subsidy removal. While a lot of people agree that it should be removed, they think that some things should be put in place to cushion the effect on Nigeria. How would you assess this government in terms of that response to the removal of fuel subsidy?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you are listening to me, consult Waziri Atiku Abubakar and borrow his plans and implement it. After all, you are now president. He had very good plans to put palliatives on the ground and then to increase the minimum wage by executive order, and then also to bring about CNG vehicles and then other forms of vehicles that are not dependent on premium motor spirits like solar energy, solar cars. That's what you should do. Now, you're president. Just borrow a leaf from the book.
I want to confirm that, Reno, you're still there.
of public good. You should direct NNPCL to help Dangote Refinery to make sure that they start to refine and to circulate petrol this year. This year, it should not be next year. This year, do everything, even if it means that you're going to give them soft loans or you're going to send civil servants to go and help them with things that need to be done. But get Dangote Refinery on stream this year.
All right, let's now get to electoral reforms. Some are calling for reforms in our electoral process. How do you suggest that we go about that? Some say, look, a lot of things could have happened. INEC could have done some things that it didn't do, but the Supreme Court has cleared INEC. It looks like they have been exonerated. But it's still, some say, look, it still calls for reforms. What sort of reforms should we be putting in place?
All that the president has to do is to implement the Ways Committee reforms. That's just all. If he can do that, then the elections in the future will be much better. So what were the main provisions of the Ways Committee reforms? The president should no longer appoint the chairman and the board of INEC. They should.
In this life, some days you have money and some days you don't. But
everything is going to fall into place. But by the time you continue to have a president, appointing the chairman of INEC, appointing the board of INEC, you're going to be having these issues. Now, having said that, what I'm going to say is this. This election, there were issues and challenges with the election, but I need to say this. One of the issues is not that INEC did not transmit the election results electronically. That is propaganda. INEC did not have to do that. It would have been good if they did that, but even if they did that, it would not have changed or affected the outcome of this election. So if you look at the petitions of all parties, APM, PDP, and LP, none of them were able to present alternative figures that contradicted INEC's figures. So let us not destroy INEC because of power. INEC, they have a very difficult job to do. We need to help them, whether we are the party in power or opposition parties.
And I just want to ask you finally, I know that you're not here, you have said that earlier, that you're not here speaking for your party, and perhaps if we want to get some of this information, we should get members, officials of your party. But I just also want to ask you, because one of the speculation is that because it looks like, an alliance is brewing between the Labour Party and the PDP because of how it looked, how they handled the certificate issue. Is that even possible that your party will have any sort of alliance with Labour Party ahead of the 2027 election?
Politics is about addition, not submission. So any alliance is welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Rano, for talking to us. We've been speaking with a former presidential aide to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Rano Omokri. Thank you for your time and your thoughts on these issues.
Thank you for having me, and may God bless you.
All right, that's Standpoint today. Remember that you can watch a repeat broadcast. There's a repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. and then at 6 a.m. of, I think, 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. Thank you so much for watching. I am Precious Amayo.